goeiedag en welkom bij het gesprek in onze studio. Dat is de studio van RTV Stemnet. En wij zijn natuurlijk ook heel erg benieuwd naar waar die verbinding ligt tussen Oeganda en Buurse. Dus, of Haaksbergen inderdaad. Ik vraag het eerst even aan jou, want ik weet dat jij Nederlands praat. Straks dan moet er een stukje ook in het Engels. Maar Gea, vertel, hoe kom je in Oeganda terecht?
Heel kort gezegd, ik wilde altijd al graag naar Afrika. Oeganda kwam op mijn pad. En had ook safaris wat ik graag wilde, maar had ook een stuk cultuur waar ik heel erg in geïnteresseerd ben. Ik ben heel erg geïnteresseerd in de mensen zelf. Toen heb ik alleen een reis naar Oeganda gemaakt. Daar ben ik in contact gekomen met iemand uit Antwerpen. En met de eigenaresse van een weeshuis waar ik mee heb geholpen om een dak te realiseren. En zij zei tegen mij, terwijl ik mijn verhaal vertelde, jij moet naar Karamotja toe. Want dat is waar jij je, waar jij naar op zoek bent, dat stukje. En in combinatie met de safari, maar inderdaad de pure mensen ontmoeten. Eigenlijk onaangetast en en dan tref je natuurlijk wat aan wat je helemaal niet verwacht. Of niet verwacht, maar het is wel dat stukje puurheid wat mij altijd heel erg raakt. Ja,
ja dat kon ik ook zien in jouw gezicht, jouw wezen, zeg maar. Er is iets gebeurd daar, hè?
Is iets gebeurd, maar ik heb sowieso heel veel met mensen die gewoon heel zuiver zijn, heel puur zijn. En als je ziet hoe die mensen daar leven, wat een nood daar is, een hongersnood, een watersnood. En dat ze toch gewoon blijven lachen, dat ze happy zijn. En dat is het toppunt van puurheid. En dat raakt je heel diep.
Had jij ook direct het gevoel van, ik hoor hier thuis, ik kan hier iets betekenen voor dit volk? Of,
Ja, op het moment dat je het leert ziet, dat werd mij al eerder gevraagd door iemand, van hoe doe je dat als je al dat leert ziet? Op het moment dat je het ziet, gebeurt er wel iets in me, want ik kan dat stuk zware, negatieve, kan ik in mezelf omzetten in een soort, als een katalysator eigenlijk, omzetten als in een soort van, ik wil hier wat betekenen. Ik wil hier iets aan toevoegen. En inderdaad, ik voelde me echt best wel heel erg thuis. Het was ook gelijk dat ik bij die mensen werd opgenomen. Eigenlijk ben je al gelijk één van hen. En zo werd ik gezien, maar zo voelde ik het ook. Ja. En dat kun je niet uitleggen, dat kun je alleen maar voelen. En het was voor hen heel verrassend dat ik ook op de grond ging zitten tussen iedereen. Paul heeft mij allemaal vertaald wat er werd gezegd. Maar liefde heeft geen woorden nodig natuurlijk. Maar dat voel je gewoon, dus het gebeurt gewoon. Ja.
Nou, je heb je Paul meegenomen. Paul die is daar ook opgegroeid in die streek. Very nice to have you here on the table, Paul. And you two work together, right?
Yeah.
Because Gea would be nothing without you, or your people, and you are nothing without the catalyzer, or what did you call it?
The gear.
The gear. To help those people to go a step forward, right? Yeah. But what is what is this gear in you before you met Gea? Well, bad things have happened in your life, right?
Yeah.
Or you have the possibility to turn it to something positive.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I'm Paul, and there are so many things that triggered me to think of a project that actually works on empowering people and scaling, especially our communities, because when you come to Uganda and you hear of a region called Karamoja, what people will tell you is only about naked people, a place where people kill each other than any place else in the country. So our region is known only for negative things, and it has been living in an isolation for quite a number of years from the rest of the country, and because of the wrangles and the interclan wars we have in our communities, it happened that one day, the raiders stormed our village, and my two brothers were murdered when I was seeing, and that is what traumatized me to leave home for life on streets. And yeah, I can't go deep into the story just for the sake of time. I left for the street life when I was 9 years. That was in 2002. And I lived in Kampala for 1 year. And then life was not good because I was living in an environment where everyone knew I was a Karamojong child, and they were always avoiding their children from playing with me. So I felt a little more unsafe also from that area. But besides that, it was really a nice area to live because I could not see dead bodies anymore like home. I could not hear gunshots anymore. So, and also having bread to eat was very easy because at home we have one meal in a day, and that is blood and milk. We get blood from a cow, mix it with milk as fresh as it is, and then we take. So being on the streets was a kind of a step ahead for me, although other people were looking at it as something funny, but it was a step ahead because at least morning and evening you easily get something to bite along the street. So I lived there for 1 year. Then I went to Jinja. There's a city called Jinja in Uganda. I lived in a place called Masese in an island, in a school managed by one of the missionaries. And the school was meant for all the street children. And because of because they used to provide meals every weekend, so I saw that as an opportunity for me to be going to eat and maybe find some new friends. But it did not end there. When the missionary left the school, the management was then handed over to the people of Jinja, and which people also had a negative perception towards us. So we were always given a lot of work to do while at school. And then I personally decided to leave the place because I was like, if this is happening as early as this, what will happen if I were to stay longer? My journey continued until I reached to Tororo, where I now thought of going back home because whoever I meet always when we are playing keeps on talking about the father, my dad, my mother, buys for me clothes, they're taking me to school. So that thing was triggering me to really get back home and try to connect with my parents. And then in 2006, I left the street life to go and try to find out my parents.
Did you find them?
I found them, but it was also not easy. I needed to use different strategies to find them. But eventually I got a man who was also from our village, and I was able to talk to him and ask him if he could be knowing my parents. And I opened up to him and told him that my mother is called Angelina. And then he was like, yeah, maybe. I think I know an old woman called Angelina. I don't know if she's the one. Then I said, yeah, maybe. And then he took me home, and we got my mother seated around the cooking place, the cooking area. My sister was also seated beside her. And then we greeted them, and my mom was like, may I know who you are? Then this man was able to explain and tell her that I brought this boy, I got him in town, and he was looking for someone called Angelina. And I told him, I know the only person called Angelina in that village, and here he is. And he says that you are the mother. And then my mom was like, are you trying to make me remember of the sons I lost during the raids? And then this man was like, I think he must be the one, but you can talk to him. I told my mom, I'm Paul, but by seeing her, I recalled how she used to look like in the past, but that was not enough for her to identify me. I saw my sister seated beside her, and she had a scar. We have a family mark on our legs. I pulled the track trouser I was wearing. My mother saw the mark, and that was enough to...
And she recognized you?
Yeah, she recognized me, and then she fainted because she was sweating, and she couldn't believe that I was still alive. Because in our region, when you disappear for 3 months, your parents perform some traditional rituals to thank your spirit for the time you have been with them. Yeah, so in their own mind, they knew I was already dead. And that time we used not to bury people. So when you die, they tie a rope on your leg and you are pulled on the riverbed or behind a tree. Today I'm talking to you, tomorrow I find you while birds are eating you. So that is the Karamoja I'm talking about. And I stayed with my mom for 3 weeks. And then I found life was difficult because I was also looking different from the rest of the children. I was always feeling bad to see myself having a good skin, having grown up in town for 4 years. I was looking completely different. I was like, no, I need to get back to the city and find my levels. And then my mom gave me a go ahead and said, yeah, if you are able to live for 4 years out of home, I can't be worried of you now. It's okay. Just go and be careful. Yeah, I went now to Moroto, and I was always this person who wanted to go to school, but the options were not seen, like there was no hope. But while in Moroto, I also went playing around the compound of one of the spiritual churches. It's an Anglican church. In our country, it's called the Born Again Church. So I happened to get some friends there, and then we were involved into watering trees within the church. Every day they pay you 500 shillings Ugandan money. And it was a step ahead for me to start making money. And then because the holiday is only 3 months, so every 3 months I'm making these small monies. Then I use it for buying books to go to school. I went to school that very year, 2006, around October. Then I studied for 5 years my primary. I sat my primary living examination in 2010. Then I started debating within myself, what should I do? If I am to continue with secondary, it's also going to be a problem because secondary means you have to have money. You need to have someone who can support you. Sometimes there are things that are really needed at school, but you may not have someone to support you. So I started looking for work within restaurants. Sometimes they tell you to wash plates. Slowly I got to now to make chapati. There is a famous Ugandan food called the Rolex, and that's what I started making to take myself to school, for a secondary school. Studied for 4 years, that is up to 2014. But my major aim of going to school was not really to get papers for job seeking, but it was mainly to be able to read, be able to write, and about why I left home for life on streets, and to find out the causes of this organized cattle raids and killing of people. And through that, I started now writing stories, and then I was involved in a radio station. I was a local journalist, trying to bridge the gap between the incoming technology with the culture. So that's what I was doing in the radio station. And this is what opened me up now to the tourism as a local guide.
Okay.
And I saw tourism as an helping hand. That when two people come and visit my community, the money I get at least chop it into a half. A half goes for community activities, and a half remains for me for my own personal thing. So I continued with that, and now I use tourism as an helping hand. I started an organization because I was seeing, there was some hope. I was able to interact with people from different parts of the country and the world, and that's how the organization has been surviving. So the idea of the organization was to make people appreciate their culture, because I was also looking at tourism as a spear that can eventually hinder cultural preservation. So we talk about the positive aspects of culture, and then we discourage the negative. That made me live out of home. The negatives are these cattle raids and so on. Yeah, and then also to find a better solution for children living home for life on the streets.
Yeah.
And that is by coming up with a center where these children on the streets can be brought back home. They can be empowered with the skills, so they can at least supplement their daily income.
Can we watch a small movie you sent us about Africa, about the place you lived in?
Yeah.
I'm sourcing watermelon. After got a banana. So koolhydrates and fresh water.
Most of the kids are actually those who have come back from the streets, and most of them are also orphans because of the interclan wars. Most children have been like losing their parents in front of their own eyes.
Yeah.
The water issue is one of the things that has been hindering. Like, you cannot really think of coming up with a solution when you don't have water, because we have had many communities talking of water, and especially in Europe here, you go to a toilet and you are using almost
Clean water
five liters.
Yeah, I know,
Much, and there you find children even struggle to share half liter of water. She testified to me that day that the water from the bowl is more tasty than those from the river.
Ja. Heel fijn dat Paul dat ook wilde delen. Ja, jouw rol, en dat zie je hier al eigenlijk in de beelden, dat jij daar echt ook tussen past om zo'n community een stukje verder te helpen. Maar ze moeten het zelf doen, hè? Dus die samenwerking tussen jullie,
Ja, ik schiet nog wel weer vol, hoor. Dat heb ik nu wel weer als ik het zie. Ze hebben alleen een beetje steun nodig, meer niet. Want ze kunnen het allemaal zelf. Ja, en ze willen het zelf. En wat Paul nog net zei, inderdaad, weeshuis en zowel de skills om. Maar het is meer ook een traumatisch. De kinderen hebben daar allemaal trauma's gehad. Dus wij willen in dat centrum ook die traumaverwerking begeleiden op diverse wezens. En Paul is natuurlijk wel vanuit zijn ervaring, weet hij precies wat die kinderen allemaal is overkomen. Ja. En weet hij ook heel goed hoe dat aan te vliegen. En hij is wat dat betreft ook een hele verbindende factor met de community.
Ik moet het alweer afronden. Ik weet het. Thank you for the part of your life you were sharing with us.
Yeah, thanks.
And I hope that you'll go very much further together.
We're doing.
For the community there.
Yeah, sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
100%. From our heart.
We kennen jou van de politiek. Ga jij dit inruilen voor jouw politieke carrière hier?
Het zijn totaal verschillende zaken. En ik heb natuurlijk een half jaar geleden gezegd van, nou weet je, dit is zo'n positief vibe. Ik heb zoveel te brengen. Maar in de praktijk bleek wel dat het heel goed te combineren is met Polen in Oeganda. We hebben eigenlijk bijna dagelijks contact op de WhatsApp met afspraken maken, zaken klankborden. Hij is nou hier om ook feitelijk dingen gewoon het contact leggen met mensen. Maar het gaat heel goed samen. En op dit moment is het in de politiek, moet ik eerlijk zeggen, zijn er hele mooie ontwikkelingen gaande. Waarvan ik denk, god, dat is ook wel leuk om dat op die manier nog even te kunnen ervaren. Dus op dit moment ga ik nog door in de lokale politiek.
Oké.
Ja, daar is het antwoord. Ja, het was al. Maar dat is, je moet doen waar je je goed bij voelt. En het is, dat is ook positief nou, dus dat is goed.
Oké.
Haaksbergen in beeld brengt het grote en kleine nieuws uit Haaksbergen. Wij zijn te vinden op radio, internet en social media. Lijkt het jou leuk om te presenteren of reportages te maken voor RTV Sternet? Wat dan vrijwilliger? Stuur een mail naar info@rtvsternet.nl. Voor meer informatie kun je ook kijken op www.haaksbergeninbeeld.nl.